I woke up to screaming. Not the kind from a bad dream, the real kind, the kind that shakes your bones. It was my brother, Kofi. His voice was coming from the shrine. I knew I shouldn't go. Nobody ever went near the shrine at night. Not if they wanted to live. But he was my brother. So I ran. The shrine sat at the edge of the village where the trees grew thick and the air smelled wrong. The place was small, made of clay, with a roof of dry leaves that never seemed to fall, even in the strongest winds. I crept close, pressing my back against the wall. Inside, I heard voices, and something else, a wet, chewing sound. I peeked through a hole in the wall. My heart almost stopped. The priest was sitting in the middle of the room, his back to me. He was old, his skin dry and cracked like the earth in dry season. He wore no shirt, only a cloth around his waist, and his body was covered in strange markings. But I wasn't looking at him. I was looking at my brother. Kofi was on his knees, shaking. His eyes were wide, but he didn't seem to see anything. His mouth was open, but no sound came out anymore. And in front of him, the priest held something in his hands, something dark and writhing. I swear it looked like it was made of shadows. The priest brought it to his mouth and bit into it. Kofi shuddered. His body jerked like a dying animal. The priest chewed, his teeth grinding, his lips wet and black. Then he swallowed. Kofi collapsed. I must have made a sound. The priest's head snapped toward me. I ran. By the time I reached home, my legs felt like wood. I burst into our hut, panting. My mother was awake, her eyes heavy with sleep. "What is it?" she asked. "Kofi," I gasped. "The priest." Before I could finish, the door opened. Kofi stood there, but it wasn't him. His body was there. His face, his hands, everything looked the same. But something was wrong. His eyes were empty, like a goat's before slaughter. He moved slow, too slow, like he had forgotten how to walk. My mother rushed to him, touching his face. "Kofi!" He didn't answer. He just stood there, staring. Then he turned his head toward me, and I swear his mouth twitched into a smile. A small one, but it wasn't his. I didn't sleep that night. Days passed. Kofi spoke little. He did what he was told, ate when he was given food, slept when the sun went down, but he was wrong. I tried to tell my mother, but she wouldn't hear it. "The priest saved him," she said. "You should be thanking him." But I knew better. I started watching. Every night, Kofi would sit outside staring at the trees, not moving, not blinking. One night, I woke up and found him standing over my bed, just looking down at me. I held my breath, pretending to sleep, waiting for him to go away. It felt like forever before he did. Then, one night, he left. I followed him. He walked straight to the shrine. I hid behind a tree, watching. The priest was waiting. Kofi kneeled before him, just like before. And then, I saw it. A shadow slipped from Kofi's body, like smoke peeling from fire. It twisted and curled, floating toward the priest, who opened his mouth wide, too wide, and swallowed it whole. Kofi shivered, then got up and walked away, like it was nothing. That's when I understood. Kofi wasn't Kofi anymore. The priest had eaten him piece by piece. His soul, his mind, whatever made him him, was gone. Only his body remained like an empty shell, waiting for the priest's call. I ran back home and locked the door. I wanted to wake my mother, tell her we needed to leave, but it was too late. I heard footsteps outside, slow, heavy, then a voice. Not Kofi's, not the priest's, something else. It whispered my name. I didn't open the door. By morning, Kofi was gone. My mother cried and sent people to look for him, but I knew they wouldn't find him. He belonged to the priest now. I never told anyone what I saw. But at night, I hear things, scraping at the walls, whispers under my bed. And sometimes, when the moon is high, I see a shadow outside my window, waiting. One night I know it will come inside, and then it will be my turn. I left the village years ago, but some nights, even here far away, I wake up and hear my name. Whispers in the dark. One night, I know I will turn around and see him. Kofi, or whatever is left of him.